right, these notes are going to take you into the money part of this chapter involving rational numbers. So the percentages and things that we've been dealing with decimals will now come into play with real life meaning to you because it is involving money. Right? One of the things we have to be able to calculate are discounts, sale price, sales tax, and total amount. So we're going to focus on just the discount and sale price part first, and then we'll switch over to the other side. All right, so the first thing we need to do is define what these two words mean, because you have to know what it's asking for before you can officially calculate it. The discount is the amount of money that a regular priced item is reduced by. Right? And to help you remember the math that's involved with this, in the middle of the word discount is an S, and that will help you remember that for discount, you are going to be subtracting. So that's the main operation to get to your answer. All right, then the next word is the word sale price, and that is the price that is paid for the item after the discount has been subtracted. Right, now when we go to do these problems, most of them are going to show up in word problem format. So you really have to pay attention to what is the question asking you for. It won't always ask you to go to the sale price. Sometimes it just wants to know what is the discount. Right, so really pay attention and highlight maybe or underline those words that it is asking you for. Right, and then other times you will see the numbers that you're going to be using in a chart format where there is no word problem associated with it. We will practice both in class, so you'll get plenty of practice with each one. All right, so for number one, a coat cost $73.98 originally and is advertised as 30% off the original price. What is the sale price? Right? So the very first thing you will always do is take your percentage and turn it to a decimal. 30% is the same as 0.3 or 0.30 if you want to use that. Okay, and with percentages, after we turn them to decimals, we always multiply because you're taking 30% of a number. The word of means multiply. So we're going to take our original price, $73.98, and we're going to multiply it by 0.3. Okay, and this is where the calculator comes in super handy. One thing you do have to realize is we're dealing with money. Money never has anything past the second decimal place. So if you have more digits, you do have to round it off correctly. Rounding it incorrectly will cost you an entire answer, right? Even if it's just a penny off. So if you take $73.98 and multiply it by 0.3, it does round off to $22.19. Okay, and that answer right there, that $22.19, is known as the discount. So if that's all they wanted to know is how much money you were saving on this coat, that would be your answer. Right? But the question does ask us for the sale price. So we have to keep going and figure out how much will you pay for this coat now that it's on sale. So again, you go back to the original price of $73.98 and you subtract the discount of $22.19. And the answer you get to that will be your sale price. Make sure you have dollar signs around your final answer because it is money, and that's your units. So $51.79 is the final cost of this coat, and that is known as the sale price. Okay, so when you get to the cash register, something that's on sale, it will ring up as $51.79. Right? It won't ring up as anything less. Okay, then when you go to the next problem, right? Now we've got a radio. Right, that costs $35.99 and is on sale for 1/4 off. So it doesn't always give it to you in percentage mode. Sometimes it gives it to you in fraction. You do the same thing though. You always change that discount rate to a decimal. So for 1/4, the very first thing I'm going to do is turn that to 0.25 because that's what I'm multiplying by. And once again, we need to find both pieces, the discount and the sale price, for our answer. All right, so this radio is $35.99. We're going to take that and multiply it by 0.25. Okay, and the answer we get off of this, right, is going to round to $9. Make sure you're rounding correctly. And that $9 is known as the discount. Okay, and make sure you are labeling your pieces so that I can see what answers you want for which part. And then because we're saving $9, we're going to take $35.99. We're going to subtract the $9 savings that we have. And the radio that we are trying to purchase here is going to cost $26.99 on sale. So this is the sale price. Okay. All right, for 3 and 4, we're going to take the prices that are given. Okay, and so we have a $14.98 pair of shoes, and it's 45% off. So first thing you do is turn 45% to a decimal, which is 0.45, and then you use it. And we are, once again, still finding discount and sale price. All right, I'm giving you practice with both pieces. So you're going to take $14.98, multiply it by 0.45. Okay, the answer you get to that is your discount. So in this case, it's going to be $6.74. That's the discount. All right, then to find the sale price, we're going to take the $14.98 and we're going to subtract the $6.74. Okay, and that final answer is going to be $8.24, and that is what the shoes are on sale for. Make sure you are rounding to the penny spot the best way possible. Okay, because you don't want your answer to be marked wrong because you did not round correctly. 5 and higher you round up, 4 and lower you keep it the same. All right, so for number 4, we've got a sweatsuit that's $37.48, and it's 1/5 off. 1/5 as a decimal is 0.2 or 0.20, whichever way you want to look at it. So once again, start with the original, $37.48, multiply it by 0.2, okay, and the answer you get after rounding is $7.50. That is the discount. Right, and do notice that you are showing your work, especially for the word problems. In the chart, you don't have to show your work as much, but definitely in the word problems. All right, so then we have $37.48, and we're going to subtract that $7.50 so that the sale price for this sweatsuit is $29.98. Right, and that's known as the sale price. You cannot round this to $30. Okay, it has to be exact. All right, so that's dealing with sale price and discount. If you flip your paper over, we're going to go with the rest of the calculations, and that deals with taxes. All right, so the first thing we want to do is define, once again, what each word is about. The sales tax, and this goes back to your civics class as well, is a tax controlled by the government that is set when goods and services are sold. Okay, and the total cost is the price of the item after any discounts and sales tax have been figured in. So that total cost is what you have to pay in order to leave the store with that item or to receive that service, right? But the sales tax is the additional tack on that the government sets as a rate so that you have to pay for it. All right, and the way to remember it, like discount had an S for subtract, sales tax, the word tax has an A, which is an easy way to remember that this is when you're going to add. You're still going to multiply first. That never goes away. That process is still the same no matter what, right? But if it's tax, you're going to add those two numbers together. If it's discount, you would subtract them. All right, so for the examples that we have here, we only have 2 of them because we're walking all the way through the problem, especially on number 2. For number 1, we have a bike that is $103.79. The sales tax rate is 3.5%. Find the total cost. All right, so there's nothing on sale. You don't have to worry about any discounts. All right, so we have this bike that's $103.79. And remember, the first thing you always do is turn your percents into a decimal. 3.5% means you have to move the decimal 2 places, so that turns into 0.035. If you don't do that correctly, you will not get the numbers to come out the way you want them to. All right, so $103.79 times 0.035 is going to give you, rounded off, $3.63. That is known as your tax, right? Tax is not going to be a huge amount because the percentages are not super large, right? Now with the tax, in order to get this bike, we have to add the tax back to the cost of the bike. So $103.79 plus the $3.63 gives us $107.42, and that is known as the total cost. You have to pay that or you don't get it. All right, so for number 2, if you look at what we've got, we've got everything thrown in one problem together. A table costs $79.87 and is on sale for 13% off. Sales tax is 5.3%. What is the total cost for the table? So something is on sale and you got taxes all at the same time. So we have 4 steps to this problem, and you have to start with the discount first. All right, so we've got our $79.87 item. First thing we want to do is turn our percentages to decimals. 13% turns into 0.13. Okay, 5.3%, remember, move the decimal 2 places left, so that turns into 0.053. Now we can use them as we need them. Right? We need the discount rate first, which is the 0.13, so 79.87 times 0.13. When you multiply and round off like money's supposed to be, you end up with $10.38. That is known as your discount. Label all of your values so that you know which dollar amount goes with which label. Now, because that's how much you're saving, we have to subtract for discounts. So $79.87 minus the $10.38 is going to give us our sale price. So this table is on sale for $69.49. When you get to the cash register, that's what it rings up as. Right now, before you can actually walk out of the store with it, you now have to pay taxes on it. So you take the sale price of $69.49. Do not go back to the original because you're not paying the original. You're now paying the sale price from there. And you're going to tax the sale price. $69.49 times that 0.053 that we used for the tax rate, right, is going to round off and give us $3.68. Okay, and that's known as your tax. Okay, and before we can actually get this table, we have to pay the tax on it. So we're going to take the $69.49 and add to it the $3.68. Right, and that will give us a grand total of $73.17. That is the total cost for this item. Right, so you'll notice that we always do multiplication first with the decimal, then subtract if it's a discount, and multiply, and then add if it's a tax. Right, and in total cost, you have to hit all 4 of them. Right, so it does involve a little bit more calculations. If you mess up on one spot, it does tend to affect all the others. Right, so be very careful with your calculator and your rounding skills, because that's where it ends up hurting the most, is the rounding part. Okay, so we'll practice more with this in class and get you pretty good at it to the point where hopefully you aren't making those mistakes.